If you've been following the theme park world recently, then you would know that it is announcement season and we have official announcements for all the new additions coming to the Six Flags parks in 2024. In this video, I'll cover all of them, and there are a few roller coasters that are being added to the chain, so I think we should start with those with Six Flags Great Adventure. In addition to a new camping experience, they are going to be getting an all-new Vekoma multi-launch coaster, Flash Vertical Velocity. This multi-launch coaster is going to be a super boomerang. Currently, there's only one other super boomerang in the world, that opening just a few months ago, and it's called Cloud Shuttle at Fantawild, one of the many new Vekomas opening in China. Now, what about the ride itself? I think the ride itself is going to be really fun. There's going to be multiple hang time moments, and it looks like a couple of airtime moments. It does have over-the-shoulder restraints, but between the elements, the launches, and I would imagine a very smooth ride experience, this is going to be a really fun coaster. The old Vekoma boomerangs weren't good, so I'm really glad that this company is giving this model a facelift because it desperately needed it, and these look like great experiences. There is one problem with this choice for Six Flags Great Adventure, however, and that would be the fact that it can only have a maximum of about 800 riders per hour according to RCDB. And given Six Flags ride operations, I wouldn't even be sure it can get to that number. This coaster can only run one train because of the fact that it's a shuttle coaster, which is definitely not ideal for a park that gets attendance like Six Flags Great Adventure does. But outside of that, I think this is a good addition to Six Flags Great Adventure, and for a park that is already stacked, this is a solid addition for their 50th anniversary. Considering this, and in all the coasters this park already has, will this elevate Six Flags Great Adventure into the conversation for the best coaster lineup in America? I don't know if it can elevate it that much, but it is certainly going to help out. Moving on to the next major coaster addition, let's go to Great Escape for the all-new Bobcat. This will be a Gravity Group family wooden coaster, and they've done many of these over the years, but they've never done one for the Six Flags chain. In fact, this is the first time Gravity Group has ever built any type of coaster for Six Flags. This is definitely a family coaster, a height of 55 feet, a speed of 40 miles an hour, and a track length of 1,400 feet. Definitely not as big as the one coming to Six Flags Great Adventure, which will go 59 miles an hour. That being said though, this park has desperately needed a coaster for a very long time, and like Worlds of Fun and Zambezi Zehner, I don't know if it was the best fit, but they still needed a coaster, and it's great to see them get anything. The last coaster that was added to this park was in 2005. That's just not fair, and I'm really glad to see them getting any sort of investment. On another note, this does feel eerily similar to the aforementioned Zambezi Zehner at Worlds of Fun, a family wooden coaster going to a neglected park in a major theme park chain. Obviously, they're different chains, so these aren't really related, but remember when Dorney Park was going to get a small-scale Gravity Group shuttle coaster? It seems that when Cedar Fair or Six Flags wants to give their smaller parks a coaster, they give them a small wood coaster. I just think it's interesting. The final coaster edition in 2024 for Six Flags is for Over Georgia, and it's an Ultra Surf coaster from Intamin. This is going to be the first one out there, which is going to make it pretty marketable for Six Flags Over Georgia. As for the ride itself, I think it's going to be decent, good, not amazing. That being said, it does remind me of Six Flags Over Texas and Aquaman Power Wave, and hopefully this coaster coming to Over Georgia doesn't open 3 years late. The little details. This looks like a Zamperla Disco, except if it was actually a roller coaster and it was built by a different manufacturer. With this, it means that 2 of the 3 coaster editions for 2024 are cloned layouts or layouts that can be cloned. At least the good thing for Over Georgia and Great Adventure is that they will be either first in America or world's first. Overall, I'm not super thrilled by the addition, but I think it would be an enjoyable experience, and there's nothing really like it in the state of Georgia. Sticking in the South, let's go to Six Flags Over Texas for a very interesting addition. The former El Acerado log flume will be renamed to El Rio Lento and will be extended, featuring an extra drop and a new lift hill. In addition to that, the length is going to be extended to about 2,500 feet, which is really cool to see them renovating an old attraction. When it comes to these classic rides, you don't always have to remove them to make them better. Sometimes a renovation is all it needs, and I love to see it. Here's what the park president had to say about it. Our new El Rio Lento will capture the spirit of the very first log flume, as we are enhancing the guest experience so they can continue to make amazing family memories. I'm excited to announce our capital project as we invest to preserve our well-loved log flume. Overall, I think this is great for Six Flags. I think it's great for Over Texas. I really like what they did here. Log flumes are just awesome, so I love that they're keeping theirs around. Finally, on a more minor note, as a part of a brand new DC Universe area, Six Flags Fiesta Texas will be getting a Zamperla Nebula, a small drop tower, and what appears to be a monorail. Continuing with the flat rides, Six Flags St. Louis is going to receive a Zamperla Discovery. The same can be said for Six Flags Great America. And finally, for Six Flags America, it looks like they're getting a reskin for one of the areas in the park, which is always good to see, and that park needs any sort of love. When it comes to these flat ride additions, I think they're solid. You can't really go wrong with them. They're just not nearly as notable as the log flume or the roller coasters. So overall, what do we think of Six Flags' new additions for 2024? I'd love to hear your comments down below. My general consensus would be good, but it could be better. That being said, I'll give Celine Basul a lot of credit. They're working with Gravity Group for the first time, and I believe this is the first time they've worked with New Age Vekoma. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then you factor in the reskinning of the log flume, the area at Six Flags America, and the flat rides, and this is overall becoming a pretty solid year for Six Flags. Hopefully these additions can help turn Six Flags around a little bit, because they've been struggling in some areas recently. But we'll just have to wait and see. Until then, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.